Why do lips attract so much attention? And why do small gestures, like biting your lip, touching it, or even coloring it red, seem to carry meaning far beyond words? Welcome to today's episode. Let's explore a curious question about human behavior, attraction, and the quiet signals our bodies send without us realizing it. Because sometimes, the body speaks before the mind does. Think about the human face for a moment. Eyes are powerful. Expressions matter, but lips are different. They sit right in the center of communication, used for speaking, eating, smiling, and kissing. And biologically, they're one of the most sensitive areas of the body. The skin of the lips is extremely thin. Beneath that thin layer, blood vessels sit very close to the surface. That's why lips naturally appear pink or reddish. And when blood flow increases from excitement, emotion, or physical stimulation, the color deepens. This is interesting because the brain is very good at noticing subtle signs of circulation and vitality. Without conscious thought, the brain may interpret color and fullness as signals of health. In other words, something as simple as the redness of lips might quietly suggest this person is alive, energetic, physiologically active. Not a deliberate message, just a biological cue. Now consider something else. Across many cultures, people have enhanced the appearance of lips for thousands of years. Long before modern cosmetics, humans discovered that coloring or highlighting certain parts of the face changed how others responded. Lip color, blush on the cheeks, darker eye lines. It's almost as if humans learned to amplify signals that the body already produced naturally. Think about that. Makeup, in a sense, doesn't invent new signals. It magnifies existing ones. A red lip color, for example, intensifies the natural tone that blood circulation already creates. That may be one reason it draws attention so easily. The human visual system is very sensitive to red, a color often associated with strong signals in nature. Not danger necessarily, just importance. Look here, but attraction isn't only about color. Movement matters too. Have you ever noticed how certain small gestures instantly pull attention toward the mouth? A lip bite, a brief press of the lips together, a quick touch with the fingers. These actions can slightly increase blood flow to the lips, making them appear momentarily fuller or more colored. Sometimes people do this intentionally. Often they don't. It can simply happen during moments of excitement, nervousness, or focus. And that brings us to another fascinating behavior: self-touch. When people feel mild emotional tension, like talking to someone they find interesting, the body often produces small calming movements, touching the face, playing with hair, brushing a finger along the lips. Psychologists sometimes describe this as a way the nervous system regulates itself, a subtle way of releasing energy. But here's where things get interesting. These calming gestures also create movement in highly expressive parts of the face. And movement naturally draws attention. So a behavior meant to reduce internal tension may simultaneously act as a visible signal to others, not intentionally, just incidentally. The body calming itself, while the outside world reads meaning into the motion. There's another layer too. The human brain processes visual information incredibly fast. In a fraction of a second, it scans faces and bodies for patterns, skin tone, symmetry, posture, energy. All of this happens before we consciously decide whether someone is attractive. It's not deliberate calculation. It's more like a background system running quietly. You don't think? I am now evaluating visual cues. You simply feel something. Interest, curiosity, attention. And only afterward does the conscious mind catch up. Even lip biting, a gesture people sometimes associate with flirtation, can be interpreted in multiple ways. It might signal nervousness. It might signal concentration. Or it might simply increase circulation and movement in a way that draws the eye. Context matters. The brain reads signals differently depending on the situation. A gesture in one environment might feel meaningful. In another, it might mean nothing at all. Which reminds us of something important. Human behavior is rarely driven by a single explanation. Instead, it's layers: biology, emotion, culture, habit, all interacting at once. So what does all this suggest about the human brain? Perhaps that attraction isn't only about grand gestures or dramatic signals. Sometimes it's built from extremely small cues. A color shift, a subtle movement, a momentary touch. Signals so small, we often don't notice them consciously. Yet the brain does, quietly, automatically. And maybe that's part of what makes human interaction so fascinating. Because beneath the words we choose and the thoughts we express, there's an entire silent language running in the background. A language of color, motion, and tiny gestures. And sometimes the smallest movement, even a brief touch to the lips, can speak volumes without saying a word. So next time you're in a conversation, pay attention, not just to what people say, but to what their bodies might be whispering underneath. You might notice more than you expect.